Okay, hello. So, this is going to be kind of in depth on how you do a wall climb rather than just telling you to do a technique and go up the wall. So, the first step, number one, is going to be literally just put your hands like this. Just like this. And then you want to pull down and into yourself. Don't do this. Do it in one motion, like this. Back and forth. Back and forth. Once you get that down, it's pretty easy. You're ready for the next step. So, the next step is go up to a wall, put your arm like this, and just pull. And, oh, one more tip. This is your hitbox right here. Your palm is, your fingers aren't. So, is what I want you to do. Put the side of your hand against the wall, so it's just hitting it. You'll feel a vibration in your controller. And then is what I want you to do is you pull your arm with the wall, which will push you over here, but to make that a lot easier, jump into it, and it'll push you right into this wall. You can go even closer to the crack right here, because that'll be where you're eventually going to be wall climbing. So you just want to do this. See how it pushes me to the other wall? Just practice that until you never mess up. You 100% will not mess up. Keep practicing that. Then once you have it down on that side, or whatever side you're doing, do it on the other side. Same thing. You push off of this wall, like with the wall. See how I kind of go towards this wall? Because I'm pushing with the wall, not away from it. Exactly. So you pull with the wall. See that? Pull with the wall into the other wall. Both of those first two steps should be easy. Just holding your hands like this and then doing this. By the way, you'll see how the skiing motion or like hand placement comes into play because you can see your hands doing that. Some people wall climb like this with their palms on the wall. I personally don't like to do that because when you do this, it's not that you're more tempted to push against the wall, but you're more able to be pushed farther. But if you're like this, you can't push as much. You can still flick your wrist and push, but you can't push away from the wall as much. So next thing is, once you have that down, you do steps up the wall. So start like this. One step. Again, make sure you hit the other wall, or else that's not going to work. So, and then go 1 and 2. After each step, you have to hit the opposite wall. If you don't hit the opposite wall, go back down to 1. So if you're over here and you don't hit this wall, go back down to just 1. And then do 2 steps, hitting the wall. And remember, you're not going to get this first try. You definitely will not get it first try. It takes practice. It'll probably take a few days, maybe a few weeks, probably at least a week to get this down. And if you're still confused going up the wall like this, just go back down to this step right here, pushing into the other wall. Like that. Do the same with the other hand also. And then go back to doing this. And remember, you have to push into the other wall. So at least once you get up a decent 5 steps, and then remember you hit the wall, you're probably ready to go. Again, I guarantee you probably will not get this first day. Probably not even second day. Probably not third day. Maybe 4th day practicing this. Who knows how quickly you learn. But basically, just keep practicing all of those moves. This, holding your hands like this, is going to lead up to this. Believe it or not, just doing this. It's going to lead up to it. Because, see, I'm going into skiing motion. That's how it comes into play. So, once you at least have 5 steps up the wall, is what I want you to do. Listen to this technique. Because a lot of people think you need to just push outrageously. That's not going to help at all. Because if you push outrageously, you're just going to fly off the wall and you're going to be mad. do a light motion. It's not pushing. And keep your hands like around this crack up the wall. You don't need to go like start here, go here. That's just too wide. Do a light pushing motion just like this and go up. See? I'm just doing this lightly. Just keep practicing that. And it's also a matter of how hard you're pushing with your arm. Maybe this is too light for you. Maybe you have to pull a bit harder. But this is what works for me. And just make sure you practice that. Again, because you don't want to be doing this. You're just going to be going up the wall slowly. And if there's another wall monkey or lava monkey who's chasing you, he can easily go up and tag you. So, again, I'm going to say this 5,000 times. Stay near this crack. Don't go like anywhere past this when wall climbing. Right here. Or else you're going to be in a bad spot. That's basically all there is to wall climbing. But I do have a few pieces of advice. Practice, practice, practice. And don't get mad. Because that'll just take your focus away from wall climbing if you get mad. So, just stay calm. If you're doing this really well, and then you're suddenly not able to do it the next day, just go back to this, at the bottom of the wall. Like this. Pushing into each wall. And then go back to doing this again. And then once you have all of that down, you want to practice it even more. Even if you feel you're completely ready, keep practicing because you do not want to lose the skill. And this is just a pointer, but if you see up there, where it's that kind of lighter spot on the wall, here, I'll go up there for you. Up here, the wall slants. It's a lot easier to wall climb. But you can see there's a wall right here. You have to go back, like I was saying not to do in the beginning. You have to wall climb pretty wide up here across this wall, because if you just do this, it's kind of going to push you away from the wall. So this right here, you can see the wall turns right there and right there. Just go back and forth around this wall. Of course, that's when you're able to get up here. So again, I'll go over this just one more time really quickly. Just do this. Make sure you're able to do that just at the bottom of the wall. Just like this. Make sure you're able to do that like professionally. Like you do not... I'm gonna turn off this music. No, you shut up. Okay. So, just make sure you practice that. And if you mess up doing this at the bottom, I do not recommend going up the wall. Because you know what's going to happen up there? You're going to mess up. So practice at the bottom till you're 100% sure, or 110% sure you will not mess up. And then, go step by step. 2 steps. Okay. Make sure you hit the other wall. 3 steps. Again, notice how my hands are doing the skiing motion. That's exactly how you do it. And hey, sometimes you might even mess up. Because you'll be like really scared of a lava monkey chasing you, and you'll just be going like this, really scared, and you'll push off. So just stay calm when doing it. Just focus on the wall and what your motion is. Again, it's going to take a lot of practice. You're not going to get it first day. A lot of people are like, why can't I get this in public lobbies? I'm like, because you have to practice. Practice, practice, practice. So, hopefully, this helped you learn how to wall climb. Now, wall climbing this should have helped you get even better at it if you already knew how to do it. So yeah, that's basically the end of the video. And thank you all for watching this tutorial, and have a nice day.